Okay, ready? Hey guys, I would like to thank Clip Studio Paint for sponsoring this video. Today we will be reviewing version 2 of Clip Studio Paint, which was released just recently last month. If you don't know already, CSP is one of the most competitive illustration softwares on the market right now, so seeing them give us consistent and big updates like this one is really exciting. So a quick overview of all the new features. CSP now has a new distribute and alignment feature, new color mixing tech that is meant to represent real-life color mixing more accurately, a shading assist feature, 3D models for character heads and faces, where you can vastly customize the appearance of the model, a hand scanner, an updated liquify tool, object selection tool, and text box tool, all now able to affect multiple select layers at once. There's also the ability to search for your layers' names, a new fisheye perspective ruler, fisheye and panoramic distortion filters, a spin blur filter, and 4 new language versions for simplified Chinese, Indonesian, Thai, and Portuguese, and a couple other features for background 3D modeling and webcomic layouts. Now the features I am most excited about are ones that can help me with character artwork, so let's see how much I can play around with those today. Okay, let's get drawing! I'm gonna do something I consider pretty ambitious for myself as a lazy artist, and that is a character design sheet. I figured that would be enough drawing to show off the functions of the program. Let's start by throwing yourselves straight into the most exciting feature in my opinion, the 3D head model. You are about to see just how much range this thing has. For example, out of these presets, I see some pretty old Voldemort looking men in there, so that pretty much tells you you can create anything and anyone you want. My client, on the other hand, asked for a more youthful appearance to his character, so let's try to meet his needs. I'm starting by increasing the intensity of a couple of these presets to match the look I want, so that would be cute and handsome obviously. And now we can get into the nitty-gritty details. As you can see, this is pretty much more detailed than even the character customization in most games, I gotta give them that. You can adjust the width, size, angle of the eyes, eyebrows, nose, basically any part of the face you can think of. Now, the reason I find this feature most exciting is because version 1 of CSP did not have any head model. And when I used their previous character models, I was looking everywhere for a head one and was disappointed there wasn't one. So it was super gratifying to see this being added. Now, I'm ready to start sketching my character. You can see that despite the semi-realism of the model, you can still simplify it into the style of your choice. Here, I'm focusing on the hairstyle and distinguishing facial features. My client wanted inspiration to be drawn from a blue and orange alpine newt, so we added these blue spots that resemble the newt's spotted appearance to the neck and face. The angle I chose can only see this from a limited viewpoint, so let's use the head model again to create several more design references. See, that's what I love about this. We duplicate the same head model, and I'm going to do a side profile view as well as a back of the head view so you can see how the hairstyle and spots work from all angles. Now I can express that I want the spots to be extremely dense on the back of the neck and that the hair is poofier on the front than the back. I can see how a beginner artist might have trouble with different facial angles, and so this would help them in that aspect, but even as a more experienced artist, I might be pulling my hair out drawing this many sketches for one head, so I can feel a ton of appreciation that this tool exists. Although the face was my favorite part, let's get on to the rest of this character design. We're going to pull up the 3D body model. First of all, I already love this tool from version 1, and it's something I don't see in any other illustration software, so we're off to a good start. So while I'm making the posing for my client, on screen I'm going to show you the extreme customizability of the model because it truly is amazing and why it's one of the best pre-existing features in my opinion. In version 2, they have made some updates, which I'm glad to hear, so we can now change the gender at any point in time, even once the model is already loaded. And now, with additions like the hand scanner, things are easier than ever to pose your character. You can now use a camera to get those difficult finger positions that originally you may have had to adjust each finger at once. You can also now easily pull up a 3D model by going into the Layers menu, selecting New Layer and 3D Drawing Figure. I should also mention that if you use CSP on mobile devices, which yes, it is available for, they have updated the camera to be much more easily used with finger gestures. I believe many of these changes were influenced by suggestions of the community, so basically I'm really happy to see that not only does CSP focus on adding new features, but they are ready to adjust and improve old ones as well. I'm proceeding to start sketching out a rough idea for this character, with a key feature of wearing a hooded jacket that has a nude face on the hood. Anyway, you'll see the full process in the speed paint I'm bound to post later on. I'm also trying out the new color mixing technology a little bit. To make sure that you're using it, go into subtool details and make sure the mixing mode is perceptual. To make the most use out of this tool, I decided to challenge myself by creating my main color palette by mixing the primary colors only. You should be able to virtually create the whole color wheel using color theory if this was real paint mixing, although much like real life, you can't get very artificial bright colors like neon green. From my experience with analog artwork, I do believe the color mixing behaves well. I could apply my knowledge on color theory and get expected results. As you can see here, I make the skin color I want by creating orange and then diluting it with blue. I kind of feel like one of those TikTok mixing guys, if you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, back to the 3D model itself. If anatomy is your weakness, yet you still love to design clothing and fashion and characters and whatnot, this is gonna be your bread and butter. I can make tons of adjustments to the outfit and always have the space to fall back onto so I can keep the essential proportions that I originally wanted for the character. I can draw several versions of the design with certain pieces of clothing missing or not missing, like this version without the hooded jacket, without messing up and being inconsistent with the body underneath. I need to draw a back design for this character, so I just turned the model around. Okay, he got a bit too much booty there, but voila, same character, back design accomplished. For the final part of the design sheet, I wanted the character in a different and cooler pose to show off the hooded outfit in a more interesting way. Of course, it was convenient to say the least, to be able to duplicate my customized 3D model and adjust the pose and perspective accordingly for my new drawing. This way, I could effectively use the same customization in a completely new pose, creating an extremely consistent reference for myself. And now that I have the line art done, I wanted to try the new shading assist tech. You can pull it up in the edit menu after selecting all the layers you want affected. There are several presets for this, some with vastly different looks, but my personal favorite presets are the soft light and the morning ones. Once you apply the technology, it gives you the shading and highlight colors it created on different layers, ready for you to adjust. Normally, for my style, I choose to stick to primarily flat colors, not only as a stylistic choice, but also, of course, to save time. So I wanted to see if this auto shading feature could quickly enhance the appearance of my flat coloring style. As you can see, the best way to use this feature is to take the selection of colors it gives you and clean it up to better match your drawing. Since I'm going for a flat colored appearance originally anyway, I decided to make the shading very subtle. I can see this tool being especially useful for people who have a hard time knowing which colors to pick while shading, or are still getting the hang of coloring and need a starting place. So here are the final artworks I made using CSP 2.0. I'm definitely impressed by the utility provided by the new tools, and they not only help an experienced artist like me speed up their workflow, but also serve as a great learning tool for new artists. I would like to also emphasize the absolute amazingness of being able to search for layers when you have literally hundreds of them, like when drawing a VTuber model. So if you already have the single purchase version of CSP, you have the option to upgrade with a discounted one-time option or do the update pass. If you are already a monthly subscriber to CSP, just update your app as usual. And if you're not a current user of CSP, there is a free trial available for you. I would love to know what you personally think about the updates, so let me know about your experiences in the comments. Once again, the link to the site is in the description, so go check it out, and thank you for watching.